Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Joshi. My name is Matt Turner, and folks, I'm joined by a man who, on his pizza, he likes pepperoni. And this past weekend, he met a storm named Tony, my good
Oh,
friend,
hey
Andy
now.
Header. Andy Header, how are we doing on this sunny yet still a little cold day, my friend?
Yeah, a little cold out. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. A little cold out today, but what can you do? It's weird because it in Pennsylvania we get everything, but it's cold, but the sun's out, so it's warm, but it's cold at the same time. So it's a little weird today. But what can you do? But I did meet a Tony Storm. We'll get into that and more. But how are you doing today?
I'm good, buddy. I can't complain. Things are really well, really busy with the show. Obviously, we have a massive weekend coming up with Tokyo Joshi Pro, their biggest show of the year, and it's shaping up to be maybe the biggest show in company history. Grand Princess
Mm,
26 in Ryogoku Kakakigan, the world famous sumo hall. Obviously, we will have our preview that should be dropping on Friday. Myself, Andy Hatter, and Andy Zyke from the Tokyo Joshi Pod is scheduled to join us. And then also, we are going to be doing our review, scheduled to record that on Monday. So either Monday night or Tuesday morning, that'll be on your feed. We're getting really busy in the best way possible. It's so funny because we're so busy on Talk Joshi, but on the Stardom cast this week, we just have a new blood show. No
and
actual
that's it.
Stardom.
Wow.
Yeah, no
Proper.
actual
Wow.
Stardom proper show. Two shows from Marigold. So again, still keeping busy, but so much great stuff on the world of Talk Joshi.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the description box, you can see we're going to be covering nights 3 and 4 of the TJPW tour in Texas. And there we're going to be
Hmm.
talking about Sareee-ISM Chapter 10, especially the main event that did see Spark Rush, Sareee, and Takumi Iroha taking on Syuri and Chihiro Hashimoto. So that is what is on the docket for this episode. But before we get into all of that great stuff from Tokyo Joshi Pro in Texas and Sareee at Sareee-ISM Chapter 10 in Oda Ward City Gym. Excuse me, not Oda Ward. I apologize. In the Yokohama Budokan, they drew a massive number. And again,
Yeah.
we'll get into that. Let's talk about our adventures in New York City, my friend. This past weekend, the big event, I believe this was our fourth venture. I believe was this our fourth try there?
Yeah, I missed. Oh, we cut out a little bit. You cut out a little bit, but anyway, I think yeah, I missed one. You went to four of them. I think I only went to three of them. I
I
think
went to
that's how it
everyone
was.
with you. So maybe
And yeah,
this
there's
is
one.
the
I
third.
did you go by yourself once though, or did
No,
we
I did
just both
not,
not
sir.
go? Okay, then it
No,
was the fourth one. Well, I was thinking you went. Then yeah,
yeah, we
no
did the
problem.
Mercedes one, the Sting one, and this past one. Maybe it's just three. I don't know. I'll
Yeah,
figure it
this.
out. But anywho, yeah. So
Yeah.
what we usually do is we kind of have a set plan of who we want to meet in a certain list. So obviously Tony Storm was number one, Okada
Hmm.
was number two, Demolition was number three, and then Mina was number four, and then whoever else extra we can get in. We would like to get in. Obviously, I wanted to meet Jamie Hayter. I had a lot of questions
Hmm.
for her, and we'll get into that. Did notice, and I told you this on our ride to New York, that was a day or two before that the big event did add Lena Cross onto the
Yeah.
basically onto the roster. Figured, well, her and Megan Bain, they just won the tag titles last week at AEW Revolution, so maybe they'll be sitting the tag champs together, which they were. So we
Smart.
pull in to New York now. When we got there in November, the doors opened, I'm not gonna say late, but they were on time, but I remember we were waiting outside for a good hour, where
Yeah.
we pulled up about a half an hour before the doors were still supposed to open, and within 5-10 minutes, they were just like, "Everybody's waiting. Scan your ticket and come on in." So that got a little bit easier for us to get into partner.
Yeah, well, this one was really easy. It felt like we got in line and we stood there for a few minutes, like, all right, here they go, and start letting people in. So yeah, this was the easiest time getting in, and also no rain because last time I think it was a little rainy, or maybe it was the time before. It was a little cool, but the sun was out quite like today. But we didn't wait long to get into the building, and the parking lot is right in front of the building, so it's very easy. Just walk straight ahead, and there's the building.
Yeah, and we get there and we're trying to get in the lay of the land. And the first thing we notice is Kazuchika Okada. So we went
Hmm.
right up to the Rainmaker, former IWGP champion, and we got to meet one of the best wrestlers of this generation, my friend.
Yes, yes. His line was not long. We were maybe what? 8 people in line, if that. And this is right when it opened. Now his line was consistently busy all day. Okada had a nice suit on. He had his Continental title, not Continental, International is the title he has. He had that with him, and depending on what you would do, he would do like the Okada pose, or he would do the middle finger pose, depending on what you would do. We did the classic Rainmaker, like metal claws, like they call it. And I got my figure signed, so that was really cool to meet Okada. And he had figures on the table. They're smart. A lot of people just have pictures. I mean, nothing against a lot of people like get pictures signed. A lot of people like get figures signed. Sometimes like, I don't have a figure. Okada had them, so you just buy a figure off him and get it signed. But yeah, that was really cool. Okada, yeah, one of the best wrestlers of the past 10 years, without a doubt.
Really tall guy too. I didn't realize
Yeah,
until I looked back at the pictures. Like, man, he's not that we're like 7'2", but like he pretty
yeah.
well towered over us, which makes it go to show you that drop kick he does even more impressive. The fact that he's that
Hmm.
tall and able to throw one of the best looking drop kicks in professional wrestling just goes to show you what a great athlete he is. The one thing we did notice as we were waiting in Okada's line, Okada was next to Tony Storm. Tony Storm
Hmm.
was right next to Mina. So once we got done with Okada's line, again, we did get there a little
Hmm.
early, so the Okada line wasn't that long. But as you said, partner, as the day progressed, that the line was getting longer. And I do want to preface that this that started at 10 and ended at 3. There's a reason why I'm saying that because there's little something that I found out afterwards after I got home, which is going to make a professional wrestling legend look even better than he already did. But I'll get into that in a moment. So we quickly get into Tony Storm's line, which obviously I know Andy Header. That was your number one
Hmm.
get. Your number one get. I was lucky
Yes.
enough, myself and Rob were lucky enough to meet her last year at WrestleCon, and she was an absolute delight. Now, they did make mention, I think it was a day or two before, that Tony Storm was going to be out indefinitely. Now, they didn't say
Hmm.
it was an actual injury. There's a lot of speculation, and we're not going to speculate why she's going to be out for a year. We don't know. Again, that is not our that we're not here in the rumor mill. We're not here to give the dirt,
Yeah, rumor and
but
innuendo.
rumor and innuendo. But then we got to meet Tony Storm, and Tony, I mean, she was super nice, but she wasn't as energetic as she was for
No.
WrestleCon. If you did meet her at WrestleCon, she stayed in front of the table. She cut promo. She was in character. She was in character here, and she had a hat on. She had the glasses on. Said a couple words. She was really nice, but wasn't like in full blown character. You can kind of tell that she's probably a little tired, maybe a little burned out because this run that she's been on the last 2 or 3 years, she's been 100%
Hmm.
timeless. But still, regardless, even her at not at 100% is still better than 99% of the people that are out there right now. And I thought she was really still super funny.
Yeah, she said a little bit. I mean, obviously you could tell by looking at her, and luckily the glasses and the hat it fits the gimmick. So she was like Detective Noir, Tony Storm sitting there, but you could tell I was like, man, I don't know Tony Storm by any means. I don't know anything, but you could tell that she was hurting or she was tired or something. She wasn't her normal self that you see on TV. And like you said, when you met her, she was very lively and up talking to everybody. She was sitting at her table. She didn't get up at all that I seen. Oh, she was still nice. I told her, I said, "You're my favorite wrestler," and then I told her about when she was in the May Young tournament, first time I seen her, and she did the old ass to the face move, and she said, "Well, maybe you should try," and I said, "Maybe I will," and she signed my figure. But yeah, Tony Storm, something's up. Who knows? She'll announce it when she's ready, but hopefully she's okay and she'll be back better than ever, back to wrestling sooner rather than later. But it was still cool to meet her. Maybe I'll meet her again when she's more lively. But I got my figure signed, my black and white Tony Storm figure, so that was kind of all that matters. Oh, she signed that. She was like, "Get the hell out of here! I've never seen you again." But yeah, I got my figure signed. She was nice, and she did look great. I gotta say.
I did notice when I was looking at the people that were posting the pro photos, that like the one that are like behind the curtain that are, in that
Hmm.
special photo place, that it seemed like she was selling the injury, selling because that's obviously the storyline. She got taken out. So
Hmm.
maybe she just being in very much like in Vegas, being in total character. So that's my
Yeah.
assumption is she just wanted to be in character. She wanted to sell the injury that we saw on TV. Just that was, I think, that past Wednesday. So just 4 days prior that she took a champagne bottle to the head. So maybe that's why the
Yeah.
sunglasses, the hat, because if you have a concussion, the last thing you want is the sun in your eyes. So my guess, Tony being the absolute professional that she is she's just selling the injury. I did get when I did meet her in Vegas. I got my photo that I got with her that had my wife blow up into an 8x10, and she signed that. And I asked her how she was doing. She said she was
Nice.
lovely and she was happy to be alive. So which I thought
Yeah.
that was great. And then we go literally about 5 feet over to our right, the lively one
Mm-hmm.
Mina Shirakawa. This is my fourth meeting Mina, and I think even
Oh,
Amber
wow.
said, like, doesn't Mina just know you by now? Now I did notice, like when we were in line, like you can kind of tell she knew who I was, and she kind of looked at you, looked at me, and looked back at you, and maybe she was thought, "Where's the tall one? Like, where's Rob?"
Yeah,
Like I think that's
where's
where
the other
I
one?
think she was confused. Like, okay, I know this guy. He's usually with a really tall guy, so maybe that's why she kind of maybe looked a little confused for a half a second. But I did have my all-Star Grand Queendom 2023 poster signed by Mina. And I also have Mercedes Monet has signed that poster. So I might frame
Mm-hmm.
that bad boy. Obviously, there's Micah's on that, Himika's on it, Julia, Tam. So that might be one that might be tricky to get all of the signatures. But I got Mina on there, in
Yeah.
my opinion, had the best match on that show versus Saya Kamatani. And I had Mercedes Monet autographed. But obviously, Mercedes was on a big match for the IWGP Joshi Championship against Mayu Iwatani. It's a smaller poster, so I might frame that and put that one in this little blank space that you see over here. But Mina's always great. Again, my fourth time meeting her. She's just an absolute delight. Had one of the longest lines of
Mm-hmm.
consistently from 10 to 2, was in front of the desk, took multiple photos, usually just the one pose. And she's like, no, let's do this pose, let's do this pose. Mina, always great Andy header. And we did have to ask her, I'm not going to say the name, did have to ask her how a certain wrestler is that retired in a match at the
Mm-hmm.
end of April last year. How's she doing? And she said that she's fine. She did make mention that if Stardom runs the Tokyo Dome, that she absolutely needs to be on the show. And if she ever does
Yes.
come back to Stardom, it is time for her to win the big belt, the World of Stardom
Yep.
Championship.
Yep, she did the classic wrestler thing. She's like, if I go back, I get belt. And she did the old, hands around the waist, motioning that you were wearing a belt around your waist. So that was really cool. Mina is very tiny in real life, which was like, wow, she's very, very small. Nothing against that. She is obviously gorgeous, and she looked great, and she was very nice. And yeah, she's like, let's do the heart pose, and let's do this pose. So that was pretty cool because a lot of people just get there and like, all right, I smile. All right, see ya. So she did that, and she did talk a lot. And we gotta say that on her table, and I think someone 3D printed these for her, Statlander and somebody else that was next to them.
Deanna
They have the
Perrazzo had
old
him too.
yeah, Deanna Pratt, yeah, the old WWE, WWF ice cream bars, but it was like Mina on it. And you were saying if they're for sale, I was like, if they're for sale, I'll buy one. But it looked like someone just 3D printed them because they were the only three that had it. So I'm assuming they must be friends. I'm thinking probably Statlander. She seems like the one that would have a 3D printer, so maybe she printed them out. But it was really cool to meet Mina. I didn't have anything to really get signed. I could have bought a picture or something. I was like, I'm happy just getting a picture and be like, hey, Mina, how's it going? And I did point to my shirt and said, well, you're going to have to wrestle Saya if you want that world title because probably by the time you get over there, Saya will still be world champion. But it was really nice meeting Mina.
Yeah, Andy Header was wearing the Sai Kamatani T-shirt, the one where she's like sitting in a chair, and then I was
Mm-hmm.
wearing the Starlight Kid one, the collab. I forget the name of the company that did it. We had a lot of people complimenting us on our fashion, good sir, on our fashion. Now, then we make our way over to the Axer, to the Smasher. We make our way to Demolition. As we make our way
Yep.
over, again, right by where the high spots table was, where Okada, Mina, and Tony Storm were, we weren't too far away from Megan Bayne and Lana Cross. And they were sitting together, which we talked about on our car ride up. Maybe they'll put them together because they're the tag champs and you get that one photo op. So we did notice that, and they did have a pretty decent sized line. One thing that we did pick up on is that probably one out of every four people that went up to Megan Bayne got a photo with Megan and Lana Cross. Because you have to understand that Lana Cross has only been on TV 3, maybe 4 weeks,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
that.
maybe yeah.
If that. So not, and Megan Bayne's been consistently on TV for the better part of a year and change on pay-per-views, all in CMLL, in Stardom. So I don't think a lot of people are too familiar with Lana Cross, obviously because we do talk Joshi and we love Sendai Girls. Not only are we familiar with Lana Cross, but we're familiar with a lot of her work, which we will get into in a moment. I'm going to put an opinion in that just for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we go over to Demolition, and they're like, as soon as we walk over, there's no line. And we realize where there's no line is because Demolition is on a break. Come back in
Yep.
20, 30 minutes. No problem. Let's go over to the other side of the building and let's go meet Jamie Hayter because that was one big one on
Mm-hmm.
my list. We get there and the line's moving, but it's moving really slow, which tells me one
Yeah.
thing. She is taking her time. She's not rushing through people. And when you do these and we do them at Comic Cons or anywhere else, you kind of have to know like, is it a quick sign and go? Am I able to talk? But you don't want to be there forever because then you're taken away from the
Hold up the
people
line.
behind you. So you don't, you kind of want to, you want to have your moment. If you're having a great conversation, you don't want to cut it off too early. You kind of just have to read the room. So it probably took us about a good 30, 40 minutes to get through Jamie Hayter's line. One, she had a decent sized line. And two,
Hmm.
is she was taking her time to talk to people. So we walk up and she shakes our hands. It's nice to meet you. And I said, Jamie, I have so many questions right off the bat. Let's talk about you in Pro Wrestling Eve, you and Miyu Yamashita. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, I absolutely loved that match. She said she kicked me so hard. My one contact came out, and then I hit her so hard that's how like she busted Miyu's cheek, and then Miyu gave her a receipt, and then kicked her so hard, knocked her other contact out. And the two of
Yeah.
them absolutely loved it. And I made mention, I talked about this on Talk Joshi, and I talked about this on the Stardom cast when we reviewed that match of the candidate again back at Pro Wrestling Eve, woman behaving badly with Miyu Yamashita and Jamie Hayter. I said, when you guys were at 20 minutes, you were in the ring, Miyu was on the outside, and she was getting a drink of water. And when Will Ospreay comes out, said 5 more minutes. It's a perfect camera shot because then Miyu dumps the water, and as she dumps the water, she has this evil smile on her face, and she goes, "I saw that." And the first thing I'm thinking is, she's so cool. Like we just had this
Yeah,
20
it's got
minute
to be
war.
so
I can't
cool.
see her cheeks busted. Like we're gonna go another 5 minutes. And the only thing going through my head is like, Miyu Yamashita is so cool. Miyu Yamashita
Yeah.
is so cool. So we did make mention about her stardom run. She wrestled
Hmm.
Hazuki. She wrestled Momo Watanabe, Mayu. We talked about that. Asked her. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I did say you guys have to be running a rematch, right? Like there's got to be a rematch because you went to 20 minutes, win another five, and then 2 days later at Queendom, you guys, the two of you, me, you, and Jamie Hayter, you were 1 and 2 in the Rumble. So clearly they're
Yeah.
setting up a rematch. And she said that she already asked me you to get it done in Tokyo Joshi Pro. And that's
Yeah.
when I said, are you allowed to work with Tokyo Joshi Pro? Because AEW has a working relationship with Stardom. And then she said, I always thought we had a working relationship with Tokyo Joshi Pro. Then me and you quickly thought of, well, next week, Yuka and
Yuka.
Takeshita are working Grand Princess. Yuka worked Itian back at the beginning of the year. We've seen Willow there before, Nyla Rose there before, Riho there before. So it's like,
Hmm.
I guess low key AEW does have a working relationship with Tokyo Joshi Pro, and we know they have a working relationship with Stardom, which is obviously great for us, the fans, because obviously we love AEW, we love Tokyo Joshi Pro, and we love Stardom. So I was like, yeah, maybe that gets done somewhere
Yeah.
in a Japanese in a Tokyo Joshi Pro ring. Again, if Miyu wants and she's championing for it, like she's been the ace of that company literally since day one, it's going to make money. I figure that's only a matter of time before that happens, partner.
Yeah, I think so too, especially because she wants it, you know. So she, if someone wants something and they're trying to put it out there, and then the other end, Miyu, she wants it. She's like, hey, let's bring Jamie over. If you don't believe me, here's the match. Watch it. I'm like, oh yeah, we gonna want to bring her over. So yeah, probably a big show. Obviously not the big one coming up at Grand Princess, but maybe somewhere else later down the year, we might get that match, that rematch in Japan. And I like when I said to Jamie, I said to her, yeah, Miyu was busted open. She goes, I don't even know how that happened. She's like, oh, that happened. So that was pretty cool. And then she did say that her and Alex Windsor, the Brawling Birds, what about them in the tag league? I was like, huh, that'd be nice too. So it seems that Jamie is really itching, which a lot of the girls are, to go back to Japan somewhere. So if it's not Tokyo Joshi Pro, it might be Stardom. We don't know. But hey, why not both?
Yeah, we did make mention her stardom run. I mentioned her match with Hazuki in the 2018 five-star Grand Prix. She wants to wrestle Hazuki. She wants to wrestle Momo Watanabe. She would like to go back to stardom. I mean, she can probably, I mean, walk through walls, literally AW, stardom, Tokyo Joshi Pro.
Hmm.
And that would be really great because, again, Jamie Hayter last year and a half has been plagued with back injuries. Just when she
Yeah.
was really, really starting to ramp things up, she was women's champion. I believe she had a quick match with Tony Storm back when Tony Storm was a heel. When Tony Storm was with that group with Paige and I forget who maybe was it Britt?
Yeah.
I forget who she was in that group with. Where Jamie had
Yeah.
that really bad
And
back
Rebel.
issue, and they had that like 2 minute match, and Tony won the belt back. So Jamie never really had that big match to do the honors to lose the belt. But obviously, going 25 minutes with Miyu Yamashita and a match of the year candidate, clearly we know that she is now at her best. She's doing great things with Alex Windsor as part of the Brawling Birds. She make mention, I would love to do tag league with Alex Windsor. We pointed out Sorry Poi. We pointed
Yeah.
out FWC. We pointed out Wingory, BMI 2000. I mean, there's a lot of great teams that we would love to see Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter take on in Stardom. And then maybe they do it in Tokyo Joshi Pro as well. At this point,
Yeah.
why not
Yeah.
do the
Why
Brawling
not?
Birds versus Daydream or Daisy Monkey? There's a lot of really cool scenarios that they can do over the next few years with Jamie Hayter, not only in AEW but in Tokyo Joshi Pro and in Stardom. So yeah, she was an absolute delight. We started talking about Arisa Hoshinki. I mentioned I was like, hey, because I brought up, I said your former tag partner B Priestley is now back in Stardom. She's like, I know
Yeah. She was like,
you
"Oh yeah,
guys
B, yeah."
and I go, you guys were in the tag league finals against Dreamshine, Tam Nakano, and Arisa Hoshinki. I said, how was it? Was it like, wrestling Arisa Hoshinki? She goes, nobody ever asked me that. And I was like, I don't think anybody in this building other than me and you know who Arisa Hoshinki is. And she's like, yeah, I really, really miss her. And obviously the story of Arisa Hoshinki, if you don't know it, she wrestled, was on the debut show with Mayu, wrestled, I think, less than a year, went into kickboxing, and then came back in the end of 2018, wrestled for about a year, a little over a year, and then had injuries. Left in early 2020. She was actually supposed to wrestle Julia for the Wonder of Stardom Championship because
Mm,
Julia won the 2020 Cinderella tournament. Her wish was to wrestle Arisa Nakajima. Arisa was the Wonder of Stardom champion at the time. And unfortunately, that match never happened because
mm,
Arisa had to retire due to multiple of injuries that she had. But she mentioned she absolutely loved wrestling her. She loved, hanging out with her. And Arisa Hoshinki was an absolute delight, both in the ring and backstage.
mm-hmm.
And then we asked her, we know Hater hits hard, but who hits Jamie Hayter? Who has hit you, Jamie Hayter, the hardest? She's like, Momo Watanabe's up there. Hazuki, obviously, Miyu Yamasha's up there. She mentioned like Mayu. You don't think she hits you hard, but she hits you hard. Like she
Yeah.
snapped, like they were doing a spot in a match. Mayu went to go tag out. And when she went to go tag out, she just like kicked Jamie in the back. And she's like, what was that for? And it really, really hurt. But she said that the Arisa Hoshinki is the hardest person to ever hit her. She said that question mark, the Brazilian kick that Arisa does for her finish, she's like, that thing is no joke.
Yeah, especially I like how when you asked that, and she's like, and she kind of like motioned with her leg. She's like, that kick. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So that was pretty funny how she did that. And she's like, yeah, Mayu. She's like, it doesn't look like she's hitting you hard, but she is hitting you hard. It's just a little kick, but it hurt. So yeah, Jamie was an absolute delight. She was so nice, and she kept talking. Sometimes you gotta talk to keep it going. You're not trying to hold the line, but if the person keeps talking to you, then they're interested, and you just hey keep taking it. And plus, you did get your Jamie Hayter figure signed. I should have brought one because she was so cool that I was like, I'm jealous now. I want to get my Jimmy two and two regular ones, one with the bangs that she had when she was world champion, one with just real long hair, one with a black coat, and one with a red coat. The red coat is the most expensive one. That's also the one with the Australian all-in graphics on it. So that one will run you about $150. But yeah, I have one. So next time she's there, I'm definitely gonna get a figure signed because Jamie Hayter was really nice, really cool, and she wants to come back to Stardom and go to Tokyo Joshi Pro. So what more can you say about how cool Jamie Hayter was?
I'll say this right now. Every experience we had was great. Everybody was
Hmm.
fantastic. The Jamie Hayter meet and greet was my favorite. Because again, who's talking about Arisa Hoshinki? Who's talking and Miyu Yamashita? And then she's saying she hit
Yeah,
me so hard twice it knocked my contacts out. So maybe that's where the bruise
yeah,
came. She didn't see. So and the fact that
yeah.
she was like, I want to do tag league. I want to go to Tokyo Joshi Pro. I want to do the 5-star Grand Prix. I want to wrestle in Stardom. Oh, she did make mention that she met Sareee. And Sareee said shook Jamie Hayter's hand. And Jamie Hayter was like starstruck because it's Sareee, and Sareee said, "I'm such a fan of yours." And Jamie said, "You're no, I'm a fan of you." And she goes, "No, I'm a fan of you."
Yeah,
So maybe in a Sareeism show, we get Jamie Hayter
how about
versus
it?
Sareee.
Yeah,
So there's a
yeah.
lot of potential there for Jamie Hayter. Again, she was so, and everybody was great, but she was so nice, and she gave us so
Hmm.
much great information. Again, talking about what she did in 2018 and talking about what she did a few weeks ago at Pro Wrestling Eve. Jamie Hayter is just absolutely fantastic. So Randy had her that whole thing was about 40, 45 minutes between the line and our long and fantastic conversation with Jamie Hayter. So we figured, all right, let's go back to demolition. Let's go back to
They have
demolition.
to be there.
We they got to be there. We go there and we're like you just missed them. And they point like they're going to take their lunch break. Come back in another 30 or 40 minutes.
Uh,
So we're like, no problem. So we're like, what do you want to do? I said, let's go meet Megan Bain and Lana Cross. Let's go because
mhm.
we have questions for Lana Cross about teaming with Venny in Sendai Girls and wrestling Team 200 kg and Bob Moma Banana. So we're in line, and I bump into my buddy Sean that I literally not only did I graduate high school with, but I known him since kindergarten. I actually bumped into him in Vegas. He was coming out of the Kane line while Rob and I were going to the EO line. So we're kind of just talking, and we've seen him there the last two times. He
Mhm.
brings his young son, who's a big Cody Rhodes fan. I think his name is Ethan. I think his son's name is Ethan. So I said, "Hey," I said, "Where's your son?" He goes, "He's not here." I said, "Why? He didn't want to go?" He's like, "No." He's like, he didn't know. When I told him who the names were, he didn't know who Rick the Model Martel was. And then I looked at him. I said, "Sean, that's on you, buddy. That's." He's like,
It
"I
was
know,
both
I know." I put the heat on him. I said, "Look," I said,
that.
if you need to do some education, you shoot me a message. Uncle MT will help out.
Yeah.
Uncle MT will help out." Then he asked me how Japan was. And again, we're both from Old Forge, Pennsylvania, pizza capital of the world. He asked me how
Mhm.
Japan was, and I told him we were in Tokyo for like an hour, like when we first landed. And my first meal in Japan was pizza. He's like, "Are you
Yeah.
serious?" He's like, "You literally have grown up on that and you flew halfway around the country for pizza?" And I
That's
was
what
like,
you
"Yes, I know." But I just thought that was really funny. It's always great seeing Sean, just a super good dude. We're just a really good guy. And again, I've known him since I was like 4 or 5. And it's really cool that his son's really into wrestling. So that it's like we can kind
Yeah.
of reminisce about us watching wrestling in the 80s. So we get to we're in Megan Bain and Lana Cross's line, and again, one to every 4 to 5 people is coming up and getting a picture with both. Most of the people that were there were to get a picture and or an autograph with Megan Bain. And you can see Lena Cross.
Mhm.
She was still whenever they said no, you're in the picture too. She would get up and she was super happy and super nice. You can kind of tell she's kind of just sitting there like twiddling her thumbs. It was kind of
Yeah.
just like, here to see, and I get it. She's only been on TV 2, 3 weeks,
A little bit.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, where Megan's obviously a massive star. So I'm sitting there, me and you are looking at each other, and we're like, she's gonna be so excited because we have so many questions, deep dive questions about Sendai Girls. So we get up to the front of the line. There's 2 tables. There's a table like what do you want? We're like, we want a group photo with the tag champs, and they had the belts, and I just want Megan Bain's autograph on this picture. And again, very much like Tony Storm, my wife blew up the picture of myself, Rob, and Megan Bain to an 8x10 from at WrestleCon last year. So we slide the thing over to Megan. We're talking. I was like, "Hey, we're on the same flight to Japan," and she says, "Hey." I said, she's like, "Have you been to Japan before?" I was like, "No." "Did you like it?" I said, "I loved it. I want to go back once a year." She made mention that, "Hey, I just renewed my visa. So there's a good possibility I might
Mhm.
be going back to do some stardom shots over the next year or so, which is great." And then Andy goes, as I'm talking to Megan Bain, Andy starts going to Lana Cross. "I really loved your tag team with Venny." And then we start talking about like how we loved how Venny did the moonsault and you did the split legged moonsault and this match with Team Hunt 200 kg and the stuff with the Red Energy. And what was it like wrestling Bob Moma Banana and
Mhm.
Miyamoto? Like, she is, and we just had so many questions for her. She was so happy. She was happy the whole time, but like once we did that deep dive into like what she's done in Sendai Girls,
Mhm.
and I think once we took the picture and we got out of the line, I was like, the biggest lines there consistently were Goldberg, Don the Rock Morocco, and Rick the Model
Mhm.
Martel. How many people in this building watch Sendai Girls on a religious basis
Yeah.
that we can
Probably
quote
not many.
moves and matches? 2 people, me and
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
she she just seemed like, I mean, her face lit up once you mentioned her tag team with Venny. And then we're like, "It's so great. It's such a great tag team." Megan Bain's like, "Hello, we're the tag champs." I'm like, "No,
Yeah. I'm like,
nothing
"That's
with against
nothing
you,
against you
Megan."
two.
You guys are just starting. But yeah, we mentioned all the great stuff that she did over in Sendai Girls. The two of them were delight. And I mentioned to Megan Bain, I said, "We were the 2 guys that talked your ear off about stardom." And she's like, "Yes, I remember that conversation." And that's when she made mention that she got her visa renewed. So they were great, and they
Mhm.
were another ones that we really could have talked a long time to. But yeah, they were absolutely fantastic. So after that, Andy had her We go back over to demolition, and the third
Mhm.
time was a charm, buddy. The third time was a charm.
They're there. They are there. I forgot to mention that Lena Cross and Megan Bayne did have the AEW tag belts, so they did hold them up in the picture. They even went to the bathroom, left the belts there. And I was like, they should have did the old Razor Ramon where something happened to that belt, something going to happen to you. But yeah, that was really cool meeting them, especially going right up to Lena Cross. 'Cause I think most people went right to Megan, not to Lena. I'm like, how fun was it to wrestle Bob Bob Mama Banana? But anyway, we got to Demolition. They were there, and one of the cool things was their table. They had pictures. You could buy one of the Demolition masks. I think it was like 120 bucks. I think they were very limited, but that was cool. And they did have an old school WWF tag title that was demolitionalized. It had the rubber or the leather straps with spikes and chains on it. I was like, that's really cool that they have a demolition. But it was really
You there, buddy? You keep
cool.
cutting out.
Mine made super fast. What was that? You cut
Can
out.
you keep cutting out, buddy?
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, because you're cutting out too, so maybe we got a bad connection here. But anyway, I was gonna say the demolition title is really cool, but then we were like what, like fifth in line, probably? Do
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, something like that, fourth or fifth.
Yes. Yeah, and Smash, and then Smash was nice. We said, hey guys, well deserved getting in the Hall of Fame, and they signed my picture. And then you got behind Smash, and I got behind Axe. I mean, you got behind Smash maybe for Repo Man, but it was really cool to. It's my second time meeting Demolition, but it was cool to get my figures signed because last time I got a comic book signed, and they were even like, hey, look, these ones got extra hands and extra heads and everything. So it was really cool to meet Demolition, and they were super nice too.
They were really nice. Yeah, I wanted to get behind when we did the photo. I was like, can I get by Smash?
Yeah,
Because 100%
I
because
like
of
the
the
short.
repo man. To be honest with you, my
Yeah.
growing up, my favorite member of Demolition was Crush. I know he's always
Mm.
when you look back at like he's number three, but I just thought Crush
Mm.
because he was the tallest and he had the coolest name. Crush was always growing up was my favorite. Plus, I was always him in the WrestleFest video game whenever I had to choose between Smash and Crush because he did the 360 backbreaker. So
Yeah.
yeah, they were really really nice, and they did say there's more figures of them coming out. So
Yeah,
that's
which
really cool.
that's yeah. So
Get that.
don't oh, go ahead.
Go on. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was gonna say I don't mind meeting Demolition All. It was really a highlight of the day for me. And we gotta say Crush. You said Crush. I was able to get the Crush figure for a wave that isn't even out yet. I haven't seen anywhere because it also has Coco Birdman in it. Beware, and also has Julie in it. But we didn't see them. We just seen Crush. So I was like, well, I might as well Crush here a little bit more than would be in Walmart. But hey, it's the only time I've seen it. So I was like, I'll get Crush. So then I got Crush for the next Axe and Smash, and I'll be all set.
Yeah, that was a really good time. And then we noticed because at the where demolition was, all the way to the left was Rick the Model Martel's line, all the way to the right was Don Morocco's line. They were kind of like bonus skits. We did think that Tito and Rick Martel were going to be there together, but Tito's booth was like six booths over. So we're like, oh, like
Yeah.
that. The only way you were able to do that photo is if you prepaid for a pro photo op. So that was a missed opportunity that we didn't know, but we did notice the
Hmm.
lines. Not only did they not get any shorter, they just kept getting longer for Don Morocco and Rick Martel. And I just think it's because of the rarity of them doing conventions. Like you really don't see them doing conventions that
No.
much. So that was a really cool get for the big event to get. But then we walked over, Chris Stratlander, she was really nice. Just a quick conversation. I mentioned any aspirations of going over to Japan. She said, I would love to wrestle for Stardom. We have that working agreement. It all depends on, what works out, if they have the time to bring
Hmm.
her over. So she's another one that would like to go to Stardom. Again, she was really, really nice. Quick interaction there. And then I was talking to Allison Danger on my going back and forth, just messaging her. And I mentioned that I was like, hey, I'm actually at a wrestling convention with Dakota Kai, now known as Charlie. And I remember she said they were really they got really close together when Dakota Kai was in developmental and Allison was one of the trainers there. And I think as well as their time in Shimmer as well, they got really
Hmm.
close. But I know that the two of them really get along really well. So she said, make sure if you go meet her, make sure you tell her that I said hi. So I went up to her. I said, Allison Danger told me to tell you hello. She was really nice. And again, we brought up, hey, and then we made mention. I said, when they were doing the Maki Ito vignettes,
Hmm.
everybody thought it was you. And she had no idea what we were talking about.
None. No.
No
No.
idea what
She.
they thought was funny. Yeah. She tried to say, I tried to stay offline. I was like, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, she had no idea at all. I don't think she even seen the vignettes. And it was like trying to explain to her, it was like there's energy drinks and like a scrambly TV and stuff. And then she's like, and then people thought she was playing games. She's like, oh, is Makito a gamer? I'm like, I don't think so, but because obviously Charlie is a big gamer, so it was pretty cool that she had no idea that everyone thought she was coming to Stardom, and she had no idea whatsoever.
I did tell her, I said, "Well, that shows show you there's a lot of buzz for you to go back to
Hmm.
Stardom." So I did make mention. She's like, "I have a couple of matches for Vegas weekend." She's wrestling House of Glory. I think she's wrestling Shotzi Blackheart, I think, for House of Glory. I think they just announced
Probably.
that, I think, earlier today. But she said, "I would love to." And she's like, "I'm gonna be at that, if I'm gonna be at Slam Fest where Stardom and Tokyo Joshi Pro are gonna be at the Pearl at the Palm. So maybe there's some networking going on,
Mm.
so maybe we see the former Dakota Kai back in Stardom." And then Indie Header, just getting ready to close things down. We had to see the Slickster and the one man gang. We had
Hmm.
to see the Slickster and the one man gang. Slick had to leave early, so we basically said, "Hey, we want a photo with the gang and the Slickster." Like, he's leaving in 10 minutes, and they said, "Just we're gonna rush you right to the front. We'll get you the photo." And that was it. And you and the gang did the Akeem, and I shook the
Yep.
hands with the one Slickster.
And Slick is still legitimately like what, 6'4"? He's a tall
Tall.
man. He had a nice suit on and everything. I mean, Gang's still tall too, but obviously a little bit older. Slick's probably a little bit younger than Gang, but it was really cool. And they were really nice. Like when we went up to him, Gang said to me, he's like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Eddie." He's like, "Eddie, thanks for coming. Thanks for getting the picture. Thanks for supporting." I'm like, "Look at this, Gang saying thank you." So that was really cool. And then again, after the picture, he said, "Thank you guys for coming." So that was really nice. And Slick, I couldn't get over how tall he was. I was like, "Hey, Slickster, how's it going?" So yeah, when you grew up in the '80s, you knew the Gang slash Akeem and Slickster. So that was really cool to get a picture with those two.
And I think that's it. I think we got all of them. I think that's everybody that we met. Did I miss anybody, buddy?
Yeah, the only other person you were kicking around was Don Morocco, but his line was consistently long all day because he doesn't do many cons. He lives in Hawaii, and they were advertising this as his last con in the U.S., which probably when he seen the money, he was like, I got a couple more of these in me. But yeah, we didn't get anybody else. But that was really it. I know they announced some people like Anna Jay canceled and some other people canceled. Like we were looking for the guy from what was the Christmas movie?
Christmas movie, yeah, the guy that
Yeah, Christmas Story. Yeah.
yeah, Christmas Story, where the guy that puts his tongue on the pole and freezes. Yeah, I didn't see him. He wasn't there. So,
There, we didn't see him.
yeah, didn't see him. But we bailed. We left around 2 o'clock. It closed at 3. Got home, and then I found out around 7 or 8 o'clock that again this thing closed at 3. That Rick Martel was signing autographs well past 5 o'clock. So everything was shut down, and he
Ain't
was
that
still
something?
signing. What a gentleman! What a gentleman! You there? You keep cutting out, buddy.
Yeah, oh, yeah. You know what? Can you pause it real quick and I'll just disconnect and come back in?
So another great convention at the big event.
Hmm.
They did mention they're going to be coming back in November, and obviously we'll have to play it by ear if we're free that weekend. But yeah, they do a really great job, and I highly recommend if you're in the area, definitely check out the big event. But the Indie Hitter, speaking of the big event, there's a big matchup that happened last weekend that you didn't get a chance to watch until about 40 minutes ago.
Yep.
And I definitely want to get your opinion on this. Again, folks, we're recording this on a Tuesday. So we recorded Friday last week and Tuesday this week just because there's so much going on. So there's no stardom shows over the last 3 or 4 days. But Indie Header did watch the finals of the 2026 Cinderella tournament. Hanan versus Rena. Brother, what did you think?
First off, I pulled up the pay per view. First, I went to Stardom World. I forgot it was pay per view. Then I had to go over to Stage Crowd. Pulled up, and I was like, you know what? I'll go right to the main event. And the main event was a tag match. And I was like, oh, yeah, she needs time to put on the dress and everything. So I had to rewind and went back. But then I found the match. And the match was really, really good. Early on, Hanan takes that bump off the top and hits the side of the apron, which I'm like, oh, that's like 2 minutes in the match. They brawl outside, they come back in, and then they're doing, just some great sequences and everything. There was one the when Rena does the double knees off the top and just kind of stiffs Hanan. I mean, not probably not purposely, but like the double knees, and she hits it twice. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want to take that at all. Like that looked, oh. But then Hanan finally she hits the what two Hanan.
The two
Pause.
backdrops?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
two back.
backdrop, yeah.
Yeah, she's the 2 backdrops. Yeah, and then she does a wrist clutch version, which I don't think she's ever done before,
Yes.
so now it's like a new nuclear finish for Hanan.
Yeah, but it was a really good match. Like especially at the end, the last couple minutes, they were just firing all cylinders here, and they got two main event stars here. I mean, someone had to win, obviously, Hanan, which we all think is going to. She wished for a Wonder title shot and win the belt, but I think Rena could come back to challenge for that belt sometime because we got two new main eventers here. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I know Rob made mention. I think that there's a possibility that Rena, when Hanan's in, V5, V6, V7 of this run, maybe it's Rena that takes the belt off her, and then maybe it's
Hmm.
Hina that takes the belt off Rena, because I think
Ooh,
Hina,
yeah.
who had challenged Konami for it just about a month or so ago, I think Hina's only a few months away from challenging, from being a regular main eventer in this company. So a lot of interesting things. That's a really great shout. It would be really cool to see the sisters over the next 2 years kind of trade that belt. However, I'm still holding out for Hazuki to win the Wonder Belt. When she retired at the end of 2019 and then she came back at the end of 2021, she said the main reason why she came back is to win the Wonder Belt. And when she had the
Hmm.
press conference with before she wrestled Saya Kamatani back at in March 2023, in my opinion, still the greatest Wonder of Stardom championship match of all time. She said the reason why I came back to this company is to win the Wonder Belt. She goes, I tried time and time and time again. It's just like maybe Hanan and Hazuki, maybe it goes that way. But yeah, Hanan and Rena, phenomenal, buddy. I gave it 5 stars.
Hmm.
Big Dave gave it 4 3/4. Let's say you. What is your star rating on that?
I think I'm gonna side a little with Big Dave. I'm gonna give it
How
four and
dare
three
you?
fourths. I know I'm a little stingy sometimes with the 5 stars, but yeah, a great match. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a rematch, and I'm looking forward to obviously we think Han's gonna win the title and see where they go with Rena after this.
Yeah, it's really interesting the way they're gonna go. We know again we have 3 matches as of this recording official for our All Star Grand Queendom. Kamatani versus Sayaka Kurora, Red Belt versus Cosmic Angels. We
Hmm.
do have Fuachan versus Soriano. And then, of course, the match that you just talked about, Konami versus Honda. So you kind of wonder where they're going to go. And this is kind of segue in my next little news bit here. I thought that maybe it would be Syuri versus Micah for the IWGP Joshi, because Syuri's going to have a big title match on this show. The way that the
Hmm.
IWGP Joshi has been built up, really since its inception, is almost on par with the Wonder Belt, which is saying something because the Wonder Belt's been in existence since I believe 2012, where the IWGP Joshi is only since 2022. So that's you're going to want that 1, 2, 3 combination. Very much last year where we had Saya versus Tam, we had Azumi versus Starlight Kid, and Shuri versus Mayu. Which just those 3 matches alone on one show, it's like this is one of the
Yeah.
best ever. So I thought they're going to go with Mike and Shuri. However, Andy, they set something up here in about 2 weeks' time on the next Sendai Girls show in Cork and Hall. They did set up on the Sendai Girls show this past weekend Shuri versus Chihiro Hashimoto. My guess,
Mm.
my guess is that goes to either the old TLD or Hashimoto gets the win, and then we get the rematch with Shuri versus Chihiro
Ooh.
Hashimoto at All Star Grand Queendom for the IWGP Joshi. Now, that would be a rematch 3 years in the making because you remember the very first All Star Grand Queendom back in 2023. Shuri and Chihiro Hashimoto wrestled each other in a match that you could only win by knockout or
Hmm.
submission, which Shuri did win after about 19 kicks to the head. So,
Yeah.
if that's the way they go and that's the way it seems like they're setting it up, as much Shuri versus Michael would be great, but Shuri versus Shuri Hashimoto, I think I'll watch that match.
Yeah, that might be just a little bit okay, but yeah, either way, I'm happy. I did see a clip on. I'm just gonna scroll past that, but that's probably what the clip was. But yeah, Sherry versus Shihiro Hashimoto, that should be pretty good.
Yeah, again, we shall see. I believe that is in I think the second week of April, so about 2 weeks time. Yeah, because next week
Hmm.
we'll be in April. Crazy. These days are just
Yeah,
flying
flying
by,
by.
partner. They're flying by. But there was another match that was set. It was actually set up at the very end of the Sareee-ISM show, where we now know our main event for the Marvelous Anniversary show in the Yokohama Buntai. Spark Rush explodes as Takumi Iroha will defend the Triple AW Championship, which is basically
Mm.
Marvelous's big championship, against her tag partner Sareee in the main event. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna throw two things at you, partner. One, obviously, I'm super excited to see that one, Sareee versus Takumi Iroha. That's gonna be a great main event. But that does take out our fantasy booking we had a few weeks ago of Mayu and Rin Katakora versus Spark Rush. So we made mention that
Yes.
Mayu Rin Katakora is retiring on that same show. I believe it's May 5th in the Yokohama Buntai. She did say she's going to be teaming with Mayu. We kind of figured maybe it'd be Spark Rush. But two questions for you. One, Sareee versus Takumi Iroha. How do you feel about it? And who do you think Mayu and Rin Katakora will be wrestling on Rin Katakora's retirement match?
Yeah, it's a little. That's a hard. You say well probably Mio, but probably not Baba Banana because Yuriko Oka is usually not in Marvelous. So maybe I don't know Mio and somebody else for wrestling too. But that's tough. I don't know where they're gonna go there unless they just pull something out and like hey it's a Natsupoi. So who knows? But I kind of like Takumi Iroha versus Sareee. The Spark Rush explodes. Should be a great match, and I think when it's any of the match, no matter who wins, which probably Takumi will keep the belt. I think they'll shake hands and still be friends after. They won't be bitter rivals or anything. But yeah, that match should be really good, and it's surprising they're going that way. But hey, why not?
Yeah, again, this is a big venue for Marvel. It's going to be one of their biggest shows in company history. So I'm going to say it's going to be Bob Bomb Boma Banana. Um,
Mm,
if we get Miyamoto versus Mayu, that's the way to go. Or Mio and Venny. We do see them team Mio and
Oh,
Venom
yep.
team up quite a bit in Marvel. So we shall see how that goes. Andy Header, let's get into these three shows we're going to review. Again, we'll go through everything Tokyo Joshi Pro, then we'll kind of just hit on the main beats of the Sareeism show. Of course, obviously, spend the bulk of it talking about the main event. But let's go to Tokyo Joshi Pro in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, night 3 of this tour. First of all, what a tour. Crowd was into everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got over. Almost 6,000 tickets sold with between 4 shows, which is absolutely incredible. I think I read a stat that Tokyo Joshi Pro sold more tickets in Texas and this week than they did their entire first 3 months in Japan, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Some people are saying they need to rename the company to Texas Joshi Pro.
Texas Joshi Pro. That'd
This
be
if this
awesome.
keeps yeah, I mean, if this keeps up, this is gonna be a yearly tour. I mean, why wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a financial success. Everybody did really well. I mean, you see the pictures online, everybody had a great time. This is something that they're gonna do each and every year. This may have to be just a must-see location. This might be something where we know people. Andy Zeig flown over. I know so many different people
Yeah, for
that
all
flew over
four.
to Texas, yeah, to see these shows. This might be like a destination each and every year in Texas. Obviously, selfishly, we'd want these on the East Coast, but at the same time, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Almost 6,000 tickets sold in 4 days. That's a heck of an accomplishment for any company, especially a company that only comes to the States every so often. So, man, that's good on them. Great to hear that number.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like even the first show, like wow, that's pretty crowded. And the second one's crowded. Third or the second was a little down, but then up, and the third was good. And then finally that last one, the old post office with the stairs, they said that was sold out. I think they're gonna get like 420 people or something around there in there, and that's like the limit for tickets. So it's really cool that Tokyo Joshi Pro sold that much. I mean, it's a year, well, 4 times a year, I guess, but one time, 1 week in that year. So it's cool that they made that much money, and like they have to be looking at it and saying, we should probably go back because look how much money we made, and everyone liked it, and it's a huge success. So why not? And maybe they're probably looking, well, if we could do Texas 1 week, can we do, California a week or New York another week or Philly or Florida? So hopefully, like, they get a little bit closer to us because, Texas is a little far for us. So if they did Philly, that'd be awesome, even just one show. But yeah, good for Tokyo Joshi Pro drawing as much as they did and getting over and having shows that we can watch at a decent hour, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. That was one of the big pluses of this.
Yeah, again, this is just great. It's great for Joshi Pro Wrestling. It's great for Tokyo Joshi Pro. It's great for the fans of just professional
Hmm.
wrestling. It just goes to show you, and I think I mentioned this last week when we reviewed nights 1 and night 2, goes to show you this the demand for women's wrestling, Joshi Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling in the States. So absolutely awesome. Speaking of awesome, we had an awesome
Hmm.
opener to start this match. So again, this is the 21st of March. Mifu Ishida versus Shino Suzuki, two crowd favorites. These two are very much like everybody else on this roster that during this week in Texas, they absolutely got over. Really great back and forth between the two. Again, Mifu Ishida, she's so infectious with the crowd, considering she has a
Mhm.
cheerleader gimmick, and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are like very iconic and
That's
have
right. I
been
didn't think
since
of
the
that.
70s. So there was that correlation there in Dallas, which I think I don't know if Mifu realized what she did there, but she was able to get over using that. Shino Suzuki, we've been singing her praises the last 2 or 3 months. She's going to be a big star in this company over the next few years because she's ever improving each and every outing. But eventually, Shino Suzuki hitting the Shane Douglas style belly to belly suplex into the
Hmm.
straight jacket camel clutch, forcing the tap out. I always say, buddy, you always want to start your shows with a hot opener. This was a hot opener, 3.5 stars.
Yeah, hot opener, and the crowd was into it, and the crowd were behind both of them. So not only like sometimes you get two people the crowd's not really super into, but the match gets going like, yeah, we like the match. They like the match. They like the people. They're both stars on the way up. And how about this? The franchise Shino Suzuki. Maybe that could be a T-shirt coming up. But anyway, yeah, this match was exactly what you said. It was a nice hot opener. It's built up to their stars that they're investing in. Obviously, Mifu and Shino will get there. Probably that international princess title before the princess title. But yeah, a great opener. Very fine. Both of them were over. Maybe a little bit more Mifu, but yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars too.
Match number two, Sakura Hattori taking on Uda Takami. We made mention last week that the Hattori, the former Kaya Toribami, she just needs a little bit more time to kind of tweak the character in
Hmm.
with her wrestling. We did see those last few months as Kaya Toribami. Her wrestling really took off. This to me seems like she's closing the gap now. Like she's understanding the character
Hmm.
a little bit more. This was a great place, these 4 shows, to workshop the character. She was in singles matches. She was in matches that she was able to get over. I thought Uda was great again. Uda very much in the same vein as Shino Suzuki, somebody I really seeing rising up the ranks. Again, my prediction is that Uda and Mizuki are going to be the next Princess of Princess Tag Team
Yep.
Champions and have a long and proper run. But I thought this was Hattori's best match of this tour. Uda was great, great submissions back and forth, but eventually it's Hattori getting the win with her version of the arm triangle for a tap out. These two matches back and forth, I thought absolutely delivered 3.5 stars for me.
Yep, I'm right with you. In fact, I like this match just a little bit more. I give this one 3.75 stars. Sakura Hattori figuring out her character. I liked her submission with the leg and the arm, and she did the little ninja pose. I thought that was cool. Top. So someone needs to be like, hey, oh, there you are. You're back. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Am I black?
you keep posing.
Okay. Yeah,
Keep
okay.
posing.
Just yeah, I was gonna say a little bit too much posing still, but she'll get there. Someone just like I said, doing 8 times, just do it too. But other than that, the match was really good, and Uda's been looking great in the singles matches. Little speedball going real fast. Like yeah, Uda's up. I agree with you. Uda and Mizuki probably your next tag team champions. But yeah, 3.75 stars for this one.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that one. Match number three, Daisy Monkey, Risa Endo and Suzumi taking on Riku and Palm Harajuku. Now, Daisy Monkey, they are my favorite tag team in Tokyo Joshi Pro. Not only that, but probably if you ask me my top 5 or 6 favorite tag teams in all of wrestling, they're probably in the mix with the Story Boys, the
Mm,
FWCs, the Young Bucks, FTR. They're probably in the mix. Riku and Palm Harajuku, maybe with the exception of maybe Shoko, Miyu, and Miyu, the most over 2 people in this entire tour. They understood Andy Header, their what they needed to do. They're mostly comedy. They dove so much into the comedy, and the crowd really ate it up between them dressing up as the Buckies. Then,
mm,
when it came time to do the wrestling, especially in this match, they were able to get to almost the level that is Daisy Monkey. Obviously, the majority of the heavy lifting of the wrestling came from Daisy Monkey. But as much as I love
mm.
Daisy Monkey, Endo and Suzumi, Raku and Palm were way more over than the former tag champs here. The people in Texas love Palm and Raku. Literally the point where it's like if they're doing this tour every year, they're like, okay, who are we gonna get? Miyu Watanabe, Miyu Yamashita, Shoko Nakajima, Palm and Raku. Like they need to be in
Yeah.
the top 5 because they are so crazy over. Eventually, though, this match ends too much of that phenomenal double teamwork from Daisy Monkey. Suzumi with the running facebuster onto Raku takes her out, and Arisa Endo hitting the Herculean neckbreaker to Palm Harajuku for the 3 count. 3.5 stars, a really fun match. You had a mix of everything the comedy, the great tag team wrestling, great wrestling. And then at the end, Daisy Monkey's like, all right, enough. Let's put this one out doing what we do best, and that's tag team wrestling. 3.5 stars for me.
Yeah, and we got to mention Palm Raku over maybe because they came out in their Bucky's costume again. So the third appearance of the Bucky's here. So that certainly doesn't hurt at the top of the five. You're probably going to want to get them because they are super hard. The Bucky's put toys in the Daisy Monkey's mouth and they kind of choke him, and then Daisy Monkey finally takes off the Bucky's outfits and ends the comedy. So that was cool in the beginning how they had it because the Palmer Coup got the gotcha betting machines with little balls and toys in it and stuff in the mouth. But I like how at the end there's the Daisy Monkey misdirect, which is really good when they push them all around and they get the misdirect going, and then the double face buster, and then that Herculean neckbreaker, you call it, by Arisu on Palm 1, 2, 3. Very fun match and funny, but it had the funny, it had the action, so it was like comedy and serious wrestling. Everything you want from a Tokyo Joshi Pro match. 3.5 stars.
Match number 4, we go to another tag match. The return of one of my favorites, Vert Vixen, team with Yuki Aino, take on the tag champs in a non-title match. Awanaka Uehara and Yuki Kamafuki. Uber Eats.
Hmm.
Vert Vixen is so good. I know on Twitter these past few days, she has made mention for her and Yuki Aino to team back up and go on a run for those tag belts. Do I want to
Mm.
see that? Yes. Do I want to see Yuki Aino and Vert Vixen versus a Daisy Monkey, a Daydream, a Mizuki and Uda Tukami? Yes. I want to see Vert Vixen in Tokyo Joshi Pro more because she's great. She fits in perfect with like her video game character
Hmm.
in with this current roster that is Tokyo Joshi Pro. But I'm gonna talk about Vert Vixen a little bit more on the next show because I thought she was great here with Yuki Aino. Again, I would love to see
Hmm.
Yuki Aino and Vert Vixen as a team. I know maybe Haru Kazushino may not want to see that, with Prison Greed, but regardless, I thought Vert was the star in this match, considering the fact that you have the tag champs in there and they were great, and you have a former tag champ and a former challenger for the Prince as the Princess champion and Yuki Aino. They were all great, but to me, Vert Vixen really shined out here. I know this is the Dallas area is like her hometown. She got over, she worked their character really well. I thought Oberis did a great job, kind of playing like the kind of quasi heels in this match, just
Hmm.
because they understood like Vert was going to get that hometown pop. But eventually, though, it is again very much like the Daisy Monkey tag team. It is just too much of the Uber Eats teamwork that does in Yuki Aino and Vert Vixen, where Yuki Kamafuki hits the top rope famouser onto Yuki Aino for the 3 count. Phenomenal match. 3 and 3/4 stars for me.
Nope, my
You there,
internet's
buddy?
wacky or not, but
Yeah. Here, well,
yeah.
I'll
Can you hear
pause
me?
it. I'll
Oh,
pause it again if you want to try to log back out and come back
yeah.
in.
Let's try it. Let me try to go back out and restart the phone. I don't know what it is. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Yeah, really great tag match. I thought Vert Vixen really shined. Let's see you, partner. What did you think of this tag team match?
Yeah, I thought Verb Vixen does fit in very well here in Tokyo Drift Pro, and that's one of my things I wrote down. Good tag match. Good. I like that Vert and Yuki as a team. I think they work very well, and if they tag up more, I'm all for it. The Fame Master off the second by Kamiyu to Yuki Aino, so that's how we can say Kamiyu instead of Yuki to Yuki, and then people get confused. So we'll do that. But yeah, a really good match. I really liked it. 3 and 3/4 stars.
Next match, we have a three-way, which this wasn't supposed to be a three-way. This was Jada Stone was supposed to be on this show, I believe, taking on, I think it was Rika Tatsumi. I think it was supposed to be Mizuki and Hyper Misao in a singles match. However, Jada Stone had travel issues, couldn't make the show. Obviously, I know that
Hmm.
she is contracted to TNA. Would love to see her back in Tokyo Joshi Pro. She had some really great matches down at the Vegas tour last year during WrestleMania weekend. But we get a three-way: Mizuki, Hyper Misao, and Rika Tatsumi. You want to talk about a match that overachieved. I asked a lot of people that were in Texas for these 4 shows what their favorite match was. Majority of the people went with Miyu versus Shoko from night 2, but there was a handful of people that really enjoyed Mizuki, Hyper Misao, and Rika Tatsumi. This had a little bit of everything. You had the comedy, you had the hypermobile going through a pyramid of chairs, Mizuki and Rika absolutely tearing up. Again, folks, I highly recommend you go back and watch their Princess of Princess championship match in the main event of last year's Grand Princess because Mizuki and Rika really worked together. And then Mizuki must have thought she was in the ECW arena because she did her giant dive off the entranceway there. Absolutely insane. Mizuki picking up the win with the top rope double stomp on the Hyper Misao. This was crazy. This was crazy. It was like this was a last second added three-way. Let's make the most of it. And they did. They knocked it out of the park.
Hmm.
4 stars. This was fantastic. You had a little bit of everything in this match, partner.
Yeah, and this was when we got back from the big event. You put it at your house. And I watched the rest later on. I keep getting the spinny circle thing.
Yeah, you keep locking out, buddy.
And I keep going out.
Yeah, you froze again. All right, folks. We apologize having some technical difficulties. Andy had to reset everything. He reset his home. He flipped it upside down like in that Castlevania game. We're back, but this three-way was phenomenal. Mizuki getting the win with the top rope double stomp on the Hyper Masao. 4 stars for me, buddy.
Yeah, it's a shame that Jada Stone couldn't make it. I mean, I bet she probably feels the worst out of anyone that she couldn't make it here for this. But yeah, this had everything you could want: comedy, wrestling, all seriousness, the goofiness. The hypermobile actually had a little bit of a mishap. The inner tube somehow popped out of the tire when Hyper Masao was running, so then she just gets off and pushes it at Rika and Mizuki, and then she eats the pyramid of chairs, and then we did get the dive by Mizuki off the ring truss, entrance truss, whatever we call it, entrance way, which was really crazy. Yeah, but this match was really, really enjoyable. I gave it 4 stars too.
Main event time, all-star tag team match. Shoko Nakajima and Yuki Arai taking on the team of Miyu and Miyu Yamashita and Miyu Watanabe. I believe the last time Miyu and Miyu teamed up proper, it was just the two of them, was against Shoko Nakajima and one Meiko Satomura, which we did a
Ooh.
watch along to
Mm-hmm.
back, I believe, in 2024. So this was really great seeing them together. Miyu Watanabe and Yuki Arai are doing such a great job building up for their championship match this weekend. This weekend, I think it's at midnight. I think it's at midnight Saturday
Mm.
night / Sunday
Not
morning.
too
So
bad.
that'll be a napper around maybe
Yeah.
9 9:30 for me. But they done such a great job building this matchup, and they've done it in two different continents, over in Japan and over here on the States. So
Mm-hmm.
really genius part here on Tokyo Joshi Pro. Shoko Nakajima and Miyu Watanabe have a great exchange as well. And then we get some great stuff with Shoko and Miyu Yamash. Again, these two, no strangers to each other. They have competed for the Princess of Princess Championship. Miyu Watanabe hits the battering hammer onto Yuki Arai, and then she goes for one on Shoko. Shoko ducks the battering hammer. When she ducks and she just keeps running, and I know where she hits the suicide dive to Miyu
Yeah.
Yamashita.
Whoop.
Completely forgot she was there. Shoko with the underhook DDT and the top rope senton, pinning Miyumasa, getting the 3 count. Shoko getting her win back from show number 2. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, this is a win for Yuki Arai over Miyu Watanabe. But I figure with Miyu pinning Yuki Arai back on night 1 of this tour, I figured Yuki would have got a win here. Regardless, I love this. This was my favorite match of this show, my second favorite match of the tour. 4.25 stars. I thought this was great. What did you think about the match, buddy? And do you think it was a little odd that Yuki didn't get her win back over Miyu Watanabe before we go to Sumo Hall this weekend?
Yeah, a little bit, but the way that they've been going about this to give Yuki a win and Miyu a win, it's a little strange. It's not the conventional way. And I keep going back to when Miyu just beat the hell out of Yuki that one match. So, but I don't mind Shoko winning all here because this is the first time Shoko has won in all four of these shows, right? Because the first, night 1 and night 2, I believe she lost. I believe so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, she was in the tag match with the Inspiration on night
Yeah,
1, and then
yeah,
she lost to Miyu Masha on then that great match on night 2. So
yeah, which
yes,
was
you're
awesome.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So no, but hey, we got to talk about her new gear that she had here because on the way home, Andy texted me and he goes hey, I think Shoko has new gear. And I was like, I was just leaving Matt's house when the match was starting, but I just seen it and I got a quick glimpse. I think she does, but I think also Mia Watanabe had different gear here too. But so both of them were pretty good. But I really like Shoko's gear. This match was just awesome by basically all the big stars here. And Yuki Arai is their you know champion to be, but probably not really. But yeah, this was really good. I did like that spot with the suicide dive that you said. It was the misdirect where it's like your attention is here, and all of a sudden Choco dives out of the ring. Suicide dive right there. At the end, there was the laser beam to Yuki by Mio, the victory roll in like a Rana kind of thing to Miyu by Shoko, which was awesome, and then the suicide dive, and finally the axe kick and the top rope senton that Shoko hit was just like, ooh, that looked rough. But a great tag match, great main event, and Yuki doesn't get the win, but like you said, she gets the win, but not really. 4.25 stars for me.
Yeah, thoroughly, thoroughly great way to end this
Mm.
show. Before we go into our final show of this tour, Andy Header, who had the best gear and the best hair on night 3 of this Texas tour.
Well, the best gear we just talked about, the person had the new gear. I got to give it, although a couple of people had new gear here. Yuki Arai, but she wore her old gear for this match, or the past match we just talked about. But best gear, Shoko Nakajima, the brown, the white, and the silver with a little bit of blue in it. That looked awesome. She has like some stirrup pants going on. Shoko gets best gear. For best hair, it was kind of a toss up. No one's hair really stuck out, but Vert Vixen had some nice purple streaks in it. So I'm going to give it to Vert Vixen, who also had nice gear. A lot of nice gear in the show, but only one person can win, and that's Shoko. But Vert Vixen got best hair.
You were I don't even think you got off my road, and I was like, "Shoko's got new gear," and I went to go
How
text you,
about
and my
that?
wife's like, "He's driving." I'm like, "You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. You
I
I
was
gotta
going up the hill.
gotta get your buddy home safe." I'm like, "He'll see it. He'll see." Yeah,
Yeah,
Shoko looked like $1,000,000. Yeah, Miyu Watanabe, it looked like I don't know if that was a throwback from her 2024 gear or
I
just
don't know.
something new because you're wrestling 4 shows, so you're gonna have to bring more than 1 set of gear. I know they had, I think, 2 days off in between, so that's maybe when some of the gear might have gotten washed. Like, we look at wrestling different because 'cause we're just like,
Yeah,
how many different gears do you pack, and were
yeah.
you cleaning them? Are you gonna have a proper cleaner where they don't get ruined? So, yeah, a lot of insight here on Talk Joshi.
Hmm.
Brother, we go to Houston. We go to the 22nd of March, the last show on this tour. We go back to like that mall post office, which is a really
Really
cool
cool. Yeah.
intimate set. I remember we went back and reviewed these shows when we first started the weekly episodes of Talk Joshi. I remember Maki Ito singing as she's going down the
Yeah.
steps, which I thought was really cool. But we open with an absolute hot opener, my favorite opener of these 4 shows: Shino Suzuki and Suzumi versus Vert Vixen and Yuki Aino.
Hmm.
Again, Vert loved team with Yuki Aino. We loved Vert team with Yuki Aino. The way that I think that this should roll out, or maybe I'm just fantasy booking what I want to see. I think Suzumi's going to take the belt this weekend from
I can
Mirai,
see it.
and I just want Suzumi and Vert Vixen singles match for that championship, maybe somewhere in a Korakuen Hall in a big main event setting. Because
Mm.
Vert's great, Yuki was great here. Shino again, ever improving. I mean, look who she's in the ring with, Yuki Aino. An off and on main eventer with this
Hmm.
company. Vert Vixen, maybe the best unsigned women's wrestler in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of anybody right now that doesn't have a contract in front of them that's not signed to a full-time deal better than Vert Vixen. And Suzumi, one of the best wrestlers in this company. This was great, but it is Yuki Aino getting the win with the Venus DDT over to Shino Suzuki. Vert and Yuki Aino, they end their tour. 1 win, 1 loss. My
Hmm.
favorite opener of this tour. 4 stars for me. This was fantastic. And again, more Vert Vixen in Tokyo Joshi Pro. Kudasai.
There we go. Maybe their tag name instead of Prison Greed, they could be Video Greed or something like that. 8-bit Greed, something combine video games with greed. Maybe I don't know. Just spitballing ideas here for Tokyo Joshi Pro. But yeah, this tag match was great. There was a Michinoku driver by Vert for near fall that really, I was like, ooh, that's a hell of a Michinoku driver there. There was the deadlift gut wrench suplex by Yuki, who's really been doing the gut wrench where she kind of picks him up, holds him, and then goes and hits it. And then finally the Venus DDT 1, 2, 3. Yuki Aino gets the pin here, which she really needed because, like Shoko, until this point, well, this show, she took all losses. So this is for Yuki Aino's first win of the tour. They look great. I rated a little bit more. I was 3 3/4 star, but yeah, great opening tag match. And want to see more of Vert in Tokyo Josh Pro, and maybe Vert and Yuki as a tag team. But yeah, Haru Kashishiro might be a little mad at that, but what can you do? Put them all together, be a trio.
Or we could have Haru and Vert have a match.
There, there you go. Winner gets a tag with Yuki Aino.
There you go. Then they all decide that they're all just best friends and they're all team together and form a faction. The video
Yeah.
game prison, whatever. We'll figure that one. Match number 2, Sakura Hattori taking on Mifu Ishida. Again, Mifu Ishida ever so over.
Hmm.
Hattori looking so cool. This was a really, really basic match. They didn't do really anything out of the realm. Still really good stuff as Hattori's just, she just needs to tighten up a few more things on the character, which eventually will get there. Mifu Ishida, I don't know if there's anybody that had more fun on this tour that's not named Palm and Raku than Mifu Ishida. I've been following her on social media. I mean, I pretty much seen just about every dinner that she had because taking pictures of the Texas barbecue and then very much like me over in Japan, going my first meal having pizza, the first meal that she posted she had was sushi. And I was like,
There you
okay,
go.
yeah, you flew all the way over.
Get something you can get anywhere.
Yeah, and you're in Texas. You figured to go for the barbecue, but again, Mifu Ishida looks like she had an absolute ball. She's one of our favorite wrestlers in this company that we love. 3.25 stars for me. Hattori getting the win once again with the arm triangle, and I believe I don't think I'm wrong. Every one of these wins, Hattori going 4-0, got the win with that modified version of the arm triangle, which is smart. You want to, especially when you're establishing like a new character, a new gimmick,
Hmm.
you want to establish that finisher. So her getting the win here with that same finisher 4 nights in a row, I thought was really important to her.
Yeah, that was the smart move, and she had to win all four of these matches. So she came out and won two, lost two. You'd be like, yeah, this new character, I don't know if it's working out. But by winning four matches and winning with the same move that I wrote down, head and arm suplex that she kind of hits the little rock bottom, and then or head and arm suplex, head and arm submission, and then kind of locks it in when she's on the ground. It was smart booking here. This was the best showing of Sakura so far. I thought she had the best balance of her wrestling and the ninja taunts. She still did a little bit too much taunts up top, but she got to cut that down. But she'll get there. But other than that, all the taunts were not like overbearing by any means. Mifu looked great here. I like when Mifu gets up on her shoulders and does the cheer before she goes for the victory roll, which is kind of wonky, but she still got it. But yeah, Mifu, the crowd loves Mifu. The crowd is getting behind Sakura. She's figuring it out, but this was the best outing of Sakura Hattori so far. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Match number 3, this year big comedy match. Hyper Misao and Raku, and the crowd ate this one up. This was fun. Hyper is very over in Texas, and Raku is very over as well. You knew you were gonna get. Hyper did what she did, Raku did what she did. Yeah, the certain things with the cold spray, the naps, the fake of the nap. I mean, just this was all over the place. Really good fun that didn't out overstay its welcome. But eventually, though, it is Hyper Misao getting the win with a crossbody onto Raku for the 3 count, 3.25 stars. Fun while it lasted. Again, really good comedy. And it's exactly what you expect from a
Mhm.
Raku versus a Hyper Misao match.
This one I I really enjoyed. I liked Hyper's opening promo. She said she's gonna take a nap, but just for a little bit, because she's tired for fighting for all this justice. So just a little bit, and then Raku comes and tries to pin her. Hyper rolls over, yawns, and blah blah blah. And then Hyper pins Raku. But so that was pretty cool. I liked that they brawled all up and down the steps right in front of one Andy Zyke of the Tokyo Joshi Pod, right in front of him. I sent him a picture of that. He sent me a picture. He's like, "Here's my angle." Hyper did kind of push him out of the way and said something in Japanese as they were brawling down. They finally get back around the ring. Hyper runs over Raku for justice with the Hypermobile, and then off the top with the top rope crossbody. 1, 2, 3. Very entertaining match. Maybe I liked it a little bit more. Maybe I liked it too much, but I gave it 3.75 stars. Very entertaining.
There you go, buddy. There you go. Now we go to match number 4. Tag team champions Wanaka Yohara and Yuki Kamafuki taking on Miyu Yamashita and Kaylee Capri. We did see Capri on last year's show because I do
Hmm.
remember her. Very energetic. Again, I believe a local wrestler over here in Texas. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Andy Zyke can tell us, but I think Uber Eats owed Miyu Yamashita money because jeepers. Miyu and some of these kicks
Yeah.
were, oh my goodness. Now, this show was on a Sunday because I think Andy's like even texted me. He's like, I think I'm on the Homecab side. I'm like, I won't see this until tomorrow. My Sundays are jammed. But when I went to go visit my parents, I was on my phone a little bit and I saw clips and the sound of these kicks. Miyu, oh my. Again, Miyu knocking out Jamie Hayter's both of her contacts.
Hmm.
Jamie Hayter could have been any happier about it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Overeats works really well with Miyu Yamashita. Again, depending on where the championship goes, we think Hattori may be teaming back up with Yamashita because those two as a tag team were really great. I would love to see Miyu and somebody, maybe a Hattori, going up against an Uber Eats. The tag division is really deep here
Hmm.
in Tokyo Joshi Pro, but they had really great chemistry. Capri, again, with the little bit we know about her, thoroughly impressed. The match I saw her last year, I was really impressed with this one here. I'll have to check out some of her stuff. Maybe get her an invite, maybe do an interview. I do like how they hammered home the banana pillow. It was
Yeah.
3 attempts that eventually did Capri. And the second time, I was like, she's just getting ready to tap. And I'm like, okay, 9 times out of 10, when I know how a match is flowing, this is going to be the end. And I was
Yeah.
just getting ready to write Capri taps. And then I look up, and all of a sudden, here comes Yamashita's foot taking out Wanaka. I was like, wowzers. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was great tag team wrestling. Obviously, Uber Eats, they have the chemistry because they've been tagging for quite a while. But Capri and Yamashita, they seem like they've been tagging for like 7, 8 months. They really work together.
Hmm.
This is one of my favorite matches of this show, but eventually it gets to the third time is the charm with the banana pillow, with Wanaka Uehara forever, forcing Capri to tap out. 4 stars for me, brother. I thought this was Joshi Puro tag at its finest.
This was really good. And Kayla Capri or Kalia, do you know who she wrestled last year? Because they said on commentary she wrestled Yuki Aino last year, and I was like, oh, how about that?
Hmm.
That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure Yuki Aino won, but yeah. So that was cool to see her come back. Wakana and Miyu started, and then kind of almost right away, it was those kicks that you talked about that I wrote down. Miyu kicks Wakana very loudly 2 times. Like, yeah, maybe she ordered some money, maybe they went out to eat, and Wakana wanted to do some competitive eating, and maybe she stiffed Mio in the pay, and now Mio's getting her back. Who knows here? Um, there was a nice backbreaker DDT combo that Kayla hit, where it's like she hits the backbreaker, pulls down, and kind of hits like the Alexa Bliss Bray Wyatt DDT. I thought that was really cool combination there. There was a springboard split leg drop by Kyla on Wakana. So I'm like, oh, look at taking one of Mifu Ishida's moves there, but that's okay. The double submission by Overeatson, followed the flapjack on Kyla, and then banana peel. But no, that's the one where Mio breaks it up, like you said. Fame master to Mio, so Mio takes Mio out. Suplex banana peel by Wakana. Kayla taps out here. I give it 3 3/4 stars, but yeah, I'm right with you. This is a great tag match, and it does seem that like for two people just tagging up, maybe for the first time, it seems like they've been tagging for a while.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll bring her back into Tokyo Joshi Pro for a tour, like we saw with Sarah Phoenix. I mean, she was
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Semi-main event: Yuki Arai, the #1 contender, versus Palm Harajuku. I think this was a really great booking because Yuki is challenging for that belt again, just a few days. Palm is one of the most over people on this Texas tour. You had your comedy, you had some good wrestling. Again, Palm and Raku, when it comes time to the wrestling, they're very underrated. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
back and forth. Palm gets a little bit of the advantage towards the end. She goes for the Palm to justice. No water in the pool, as Joey Styles would say. Yuki Arai then follows up with the finally and that twisting brain buster for the
Mm-hmm.
3 count. 3.5 stars. Solid match. It didn't overstay its welcome, but I think this was a great bridge for between the match that we just had and this fantastic main event that we're going to talk about. Because you had your serious wrestling, you had the comedy, 2 wrestlers that really took advantage of this tour and were over. So this was a solid bridge between match 4 and this fantastic main event.
Yeah, I agree. And this was smart booking too because you got something that you want to have over in Yuki Urai and Palm Jugo, who is seriously over here. So much so that she brought another Palm into the ring and another Yuki in the cardboard cutouts and was using them. And I like when they're like, Yuki got a drop kick by Yuki, apparently, because it was Palm. I like the one part where Palm puts Yuki there and Yuki's fighting the Yuki cardboard cutout and sneaks around for a roll up. I was like, that's pretty funny. But then I have to say the part here that some people might not get, but Palm brings out the gotcha ball machine, the vending machine, and inside she tells Yuki Rai that she has stolen her house key and hid it in one of the balls in the gotcha machine. So that's why Yuki, and she's like, you can't get back to Japan if you don't have your house key. Apparently she only has one key, and she doesn't know anybody else that can get her in. So she goes through the balls several times until she finally does get her house key. So that was that spot. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty creative once you understand what's going on rather than what the hell is happening. But finally, there's the X Factor by Palm, but misses her step up blade drop. Then Yuki Rai gets her twisting suplex. 1 2 3. That's all she wrote. Very entertaining match. Goofball Palm versus serious wrestler Yuki Rai. She goes on the challenge for the title. 3 3/4 stars.
Wow, you like this one a little more than
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Where do you stand on the cardboard cutout in front of the referee? Like disqualification, right? Or are you just gonna let this one go because it's Palm Hardjuk?
You know, it should be, but it's kind of like when Raku gets in with the pillow. It's a pillow, so how hard could it really hurt? But yeah, maybe if you were a true and true referee, disqualification. But it's Palm, let it go.
I'll say this: if we're not disqualifying people for the cold spray in the eyes, this is the
Yeah,
world we're living in.
that's
Very
worse.
much. I heard Kevin Smith say years ago on a podcast, like, look, if I'm believing that Clark Kent, I don't know, I can't tell the difference because he puts glasses on, that I don't know if he's Superman. Then if that's what you want me to believe, that's fine. So if you're telling me that it's Tokyo Joshi Pro for using cold spray and capsule machines and pillows and all this other
Bikes.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah, and the Bucky outfits, technically they should be disqualification too,
foreign
right?
object. Yeah,
Foreign
foreign
object,
object.
and they're
That
from
tail.
Japan and they're from Texas. So yeah,
Yeah,
so this is
could be a loaded tail on those costumes. We don't know.
Uh, we need a fantasy book, Sensational Sherry and Tokyo Joshi Pro. Because she would load that up like the purse back in the day with
Yeah.
Macho Man.
Uh,
Indie Header, we go to the only six, and I thought this was a really great booking. The only six-person tag match this entire tour. We save it for last, as we have just an all-star match. We have Rika Tatsumi, Miyu Watanabe, and Arisa Endo. So Daydream taking on the team of Mizuki and Uda Takami. Again, my prediction: the next tag team champions. And a little known factor here of Shoko Nakajima. This was exactly what you would think it would be. Really great
hmm
pro wrestling. And the person that I think that benefited from this most was Uda Takami. You have Rika, Miyu, Shoko, Mizuki, all former champions, main champions in this company. Risa Endo, former Princess of Princess tag champ, former international princess champ. So you have five main eventers and a wrestler. We're really high on Uda Takami. Miyu Watanabe, who can you can like who you can like, but I think everybody will agree, probably the biggest star in this company. Like the biggest star,
hmm
and considering the fact that how hot the company is, like she's the Sai Kamatani of Tokyo Joshi
Yes.
Pro. Like we all love Miyu Yamashita. She's great, very much like Mayu, the big pillar that got them where they are. But like again, Sai is the big star in stardom. I think Miyu Watanabe is the big star here. Miyu
hmm
Watanabe gave so much to young Uda Takami, was great. And
Yeah.
there was just a great counter that these people lost their minds for, where Uda's working the neck and the shoulder, works the koala clutch, eventually gets it, and Miyu's fading, fading, fading. And then all of a sudden, Miyu rises up and
hmm
was like, "Oh, how am I going to break this? Let me grab your legs. Oh, why
Giant
have you?"
swing.
Giant
Yeah.
swing in the place. And it was I love Miyu so much because of just she understands crowd psychology. Like she waited, 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 and she took her time. She could have rushed the spot and it still would
Yeah.
have been great. But the fact she understands crowd psychology and she's such a great storyteller, she got so much juice out of that squeeze that is countering the koala
hmm
clutch into the giant swing at the proper time. Like Miyu is like Harley Race. Well, that's a big compliment, but I'm going to say Harley Race
Yeah.
style when it comes to crowd psychology. Excellent stuff there. Eventually, though, laser beam and the teardrop after that. I think that's the perfect finish because that was a massive pop for the
hmm
giant swing. Like, let's just take it home. Laser beam and the teardrop to Uda. 4.25 stars. Just a phenomenal main event. Not only to end this show, but end this tour. This was just brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great tag match, and I thought the teams worked really well here. Um, there was a part where it's Rika and Miyu hit the Paisano elbow, as us ACW FBI fans say, and then Risa, like, she can't grab it because there's only two hands to do that. But she just runs off the ropes the other way and comes down with like a double axe. It's like that was kind of cool that they hit the three-person attack there. There's a double team move that Daydream does that's awesome, where it's almost like Miyu picks up Rika when she like goes for like a flip, and like it's like a reverse Alabama slam. So Miyu Alabama slams reverse Rika down on top. It's awesome, and they do it like flawlessly every time I've seen it. I don't know if it has a name. Please tell us, Andy Zyke. If you know, tell me. Someone tell me because that move is awesome. That should be their finisher, but I understand why it wasn't here. Speaking of suicide dives and Shoko, she hit another one here right at the end, and there was a really nice whirling candy to Miyu, and then you said then Uda comes in, hits the koala clutch, well locks on the koala clutch, and then that fight finally the giant swing went, and like you said, the crowd probably wasn't gonna get no more hotter, so bring it home, laser beam, teardrop the little Uda, 1, 2, 3. Miyu looks strong going into her title defense against Yuki Arai here. This match was really good, a good way to end the tour, to send them home happy. 4 stars for me even. But yeah, just a great match and a great tour overall.
Yeah, Miyu and Mizuki have really great chemistry. It was at the
hmm
Itian show last year that Mizuki beat Miyu Watanabe for the title, and then at last year's Wrestle Princess, where Miyu beats Mizuki to win back the championship. So they have really great chemistry, and obviously Rika's terrific. Arisa Endo, we didn't really talk about much her. Arisa Endo and Shoko, there was some really
Oh
fun
yeah.
stuff there. Like maybe that's a semifinal or maybe a final match in the Tokyo Princess Cup coming up
Mm.
this summer. There's a possibility there. Those two work together almost flawlessly. But again, I love how they gave Uda Takami so much time here. They built her up
Yeah.
and then to beat her again, as we say all the time. If you just beat somebody up and then beat them, you didn't really beat anybody. So they did a great job making Uda look really good here. Speaking of looking really good, Andy Header, we need to know who looked really good in the hair,
Oh.
who looked really good in their costume, was the best dressed for this show.
Well, we'll start with best hair here. There was not too much different hair, but somebody had some really nice looking hair because they styled it just a little bit different, and that's our girl Mifa Ishida. She had some braids inside. It was long, it was wavy, it was looking real nice. I think there was even some colored purple or blue streaks in there. It kind of looked like, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Mifa Ishida got the best hair. For best gear, I gotta go again with my girl Shoko. Her gear was just awesome here. Rika Tatsumi had different gear. I think it was older gear, not as cool as the gear she was wearing the night before. But yeah, Shoko Nakajima wins nights 3 and 4 for best gear here. So I guess she wins best gear because I know that's where you're gonna go. Best hair, we have a little bit of a battle.
I believe did she have the same gear on night 3 and night 4?
Who, Shoko?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so then I don't need to tell you because I know with the Yuki Arai having different gears night 1 and
Yeah.
night 2.
Yeah.
So Shoko night 3 and 4 is the same gear. So we go to best hair, Mifu Ishida and Vert Vixen. That's a match I would like to see.
Ooh,
But
yeah,
who
that's cool.
wins overall best hair?
I think both will have purple gear, so look like a tag team in the wrestling chat. I think I might go with Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Vervixen with the colors, and her hair looked pretty good there. So I'm gonna go with Vervixen for best hair or overall, and then Choco gets best gear.
Congratulations to player 1 for Vixen. I'll
Mm-hmm.
have to shoot her over an email and be like,
The
"Hey,
Red Ring of Death.
yeah,
Did
you
you know
did
what you
win."
won?
Yes, this is huge, huge. You may not have beaten Miyu Watanabe for the Princess of Princess Championship back 2 years ago. However, just as good, you won best hair during the Texas tour.
Yeah.
And here, before we dip into this Sareee-ISM show real quick, do you have like an overall favorite match or like an overall like favorite moment? Or like who do you think was the overall MVP of this Texas tour?
Hmm. Overall MVP, probably me Watanabe was probably or Miyu Yamashita. It's closer, but I'm thinking maybe Miyu Watanabe. My favorite match was Shogo versus Watanabe from Miyu Yamashita. Sorry, getting confused up there. Yuki Miyu Miyu Momo Momo. So Shogo
Saya
Nakajima
Saya?
versus Shogo Nakajima versus Miyu Yamashita. Night two, that match was awesome. My favorite match, and I think night two was my favorite night overall. Not that there was any bad nights. That's where I'm kind of leaning there. So yeah, that's my favorite match, my favorite night, and I think Miyu. Let me pause. Miyu Watanabe is the overall MVP.
I can go Miyu Masha as the overall MVP. She had my favorite match with Shoko. I think that's pretty much kind of everybody's. Miyu Watanabe, she was great as well, but I think just Miyu Masha, night 1 and night 2, she had such great stellar matches. And then here on the final night, beating up Over Eats. So
Hmm.
I thought it was just so dominant. But there was so many great wrestlers like Palm and
Yeah.
Raku just getting over, Yuki
Hmm.
Arai panicking because her key to her house got locked into a like just so much fun stuff. These shows were so great, absolutely great. Again, I would not be shocked if this is an annual thing where they're going to be
Yeah.
touring Texas. So again, kudos to them. Kudos to the fan. Almost 6,000 tickets. I mean, Tokyo Joshi Pro is as hot as ever, and I think just this UX expansion is really going to help them out. We're going to see them in Vegas in about 3 weeks' time, and then a couple weeks after that, going over to Vancouver to our neighbors up in the north. So again, congratulations to everybody involved, and more Tokyo Joshi Pro on everybody's TVs
Hmm.
is obviously a good thing. Andy Header, we are going to just kind of buzz through this Sareee-ISM show. We'll kind of talk about like the main matches a little bit, but we go to the 22nd of March again. What a loaded day for pro wrestling that day
Hmm.
was. We are in the Yokohama Budokan. I don't know if did you hear about the house, good sir?
No, I did not hear about the house. Please tell me.
2,693 people
Wow.
is the highest attended Joshi show in all of Japan so far this calendar year. Now I'm pretty sure that the pre-sold tickets for All Star Grand Kingdom is probably already triple this, but
Yeah.
regardless, over almost 2,700 people for a Sareee Cell Produce show. So again,
Awesome.
there's no like massive stardom push behind it. No
Nope.
Tokyo Joshi Pro, no Cyber Fight, no Bushiroad. Like there was some promotion stuff, but you didn't have the big machine that's like behind it's like a marigold, how you have Wrestle Universe
Hmm.
behind it. It was just really Sareee that's kind of promoting this, but getting 2,700 people in the Yokohama Budokan, brother, that's a heck of an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you gotta think it really is just Sareee. So maybe she'll be winning Best Promoter of the Year just because if she can draw that many people with her own show. I mean, technically it's not really her own fed, it's just her own show that she does, but it's kind of federation. But yeah, that's awesome that she drew over 2,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show that like I just don't want Sareee to sign with any company. Like, she's
Me
the
either.
only wrestler,
Yeah.
like, I wanna see her in well, we're gonna see her in Tokyo Joshi Pro this weekend. I love her in Stardom. I wanna see her back in Marigold, like,
Hmm.
doing her self, produced shows here. Like, she's, like, the best independent wrestler, maybe ever, especially from a booking standpoint. So, yeah, good on her. She's betting on herself. She keeps I mean, it's her merchandise looks really cool. There's a whole bunch of new stuff out for this. So it's awesome. Like, she's the ultimate independent wrestler, which is
Hmm.
really cool. Again, we're gonna just go and buzz through these. I'm gonna ask you because I know your time is short, so I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch this whole entire show. I watched the majority of it, so I just kind of want to get your picks here. Match number one was a dark match with Akira and Toyota defeating Uda, Shima, and Yuka at 8 minutes and 40 seconds. You get a chance to watch this, good sir.
No, I did not watch this one, but I did notice I was flipping through a little bit. Did you notice that the cameras, Sareee has upgraded and she has more like HD cameras? The camera work here in the production was a lot better for this.
Yeah, I mean, this is her ultimate show. It's her 15th.
Yeah.
Not only is it Sareee-ISM Chapter 10, but it's her 15th anniversary as
Hmm.
well. So she really upped the production quality. So yes, good point, sir. The second dark match, Stardom Zone, Kikyo Furusawa versus Selena Missouri. We've seen Selena a time or two on New Blood shows. 10-minute time limit draw. This one was actually pretty solid. Did you get a chance to see this one, good sir?
Nope, I didn't see this one either. But I
Oh,
want to go back and watch this one.
Matt. Now this is a match that you definitely need to see if you haven't seen. Did you see this Chi tag match?
No, I did not see
Okay. I believe
the.
I believe they're calling Chi-Chi and Miku Kanai Team Sareeism. So, and I'm all for
Oh,
that. They defeated the team of Ami Fujiwara and Rina. Now, it is not that Rina, but is one of the many Rinas, very much like the Yukis and the Sayas. This was great. If it goes on a little over 12 minutes, this was fantastic with Team Chi-Chi and Miku Kanai getting the win. This is one that I would definitely recommend if you're short on time. Check this one out. Terrific stuff. More Chi-Chi and Miku Kanai teaming. I don't care if it's in Sareeism, if it's in Sendai Girls, if it's in Marvelous, if it's in Stardom. I think Chi-Chi and Miku Kanai are really a next level tag team that is just yet to be discovered. And they really had a great showing here. The next match, this is like your first really must see match of this show. Veni versus Hanako. Veni getting the win with the moonsault on Hanako. You have a mainstay here in Stardom, and Hanako and somebody that Bushiroad is definitely behind. Veni, one of the best independent Joshis on the scene. A really terrific match. This one I actually gave 4 stars.
wow, I have to go back and watch it. I just watched the highlights. I caught the end of this one, and it does look really good. Both taller girls fighting, so I was like, oh, it's kind of like a hoss fight here. So yeah, I gotta go back and watch this one. Benny, someone that we think is probably next in line, if not next in line, second in line for that Sendai Girls World Title.
Yeah, we know it's Chihiro Hashimoto and Minami. That's coming up soon, but I
Hmm.
wouldn't be shocked if Veni challenges the winner. And that's a match I definitely want to see. So a lot of Veni talk on the podcast this week,
Yeah, how
which is
about it?
great. Yeah, because we got firsthand talk with Lena Cross and her team with Veni.
Hmm.
Next match, we get your comedy match. Kuroshi Tokyo Japan defeating Shin Hiroto Sareee. It was announced that Tokyo Japan would be wrestling a mystery opponent. A lot of people thought it would be Megaton because that just seems the way it goes. There's like a mini
Yeah.
feud with the two of them in Marigold, but then we're waiting. First of all, you have Tokyo Japan. He does that thing where he fakes getting in the ring and then he runs around, fakes getting in the
Yeah.
ring, runs around. So like, all right. So he finally gets and he's over. He's having the time of
Yeah.
his life. He works the gimmick really well. So okay, who's it gonna be? Then all of a sudden here, and I'm like, is Sareee wrestling twice? And it is Shin Hiroto coming out dressed as Sareee, literally the point with the jacket and does the thing like Sareee does, like with the jacket,
Yeah.
like getting pumped up. I didn't see this match. I just waited for the entrance. This match went 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Kuroshi Tokyo's Japan's entrance was about 10 minutes. So
Yeah, his entrances are on the long side.
yeah, this next match I didn't see. This is the Sanka teaming with the Legends versus Fuchan teaming the Legends. You have Jaguar Ikota, Sanka Akatsuki, and Toyoki Inoue taking on Fuchan, Shinobi Kandori, and Yumuki Hada, also known as the Violence Queen. If you remember, Hada actually wrestled on last year's All-Star Grand Queendom and absolutely pasted poor Rena.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm looking at this one, buddy. This went a shade under 8 minutes. 6 wrestlers. My guess is they kind of play the hits. I know we all pumped ourselves up when we saw it with Sanka and two mystery people versus Fuachan and two mystery people. We thought we would get Sanka and either Magenta or Baba Mama Banana versus Fuachan FWC. Obviously, we didn't get that, but it's always really cool seeing these legends on these Sareeism shows.
Yeah, and it gets the legends out there to the people because I think, like they always say, every show is someone's first show, and they probably never got to see these people live before. So it's pretty cool. And the best way to use legends is a tag match or a multiple person tag match. That way you can hide any shortcomings that they might have.
Semi-main event. I actually did watch this match. Everyone told me it was great. Kari Ito versus Natsupoi. Kind of wondering how this was going to go because Kari Ito, God bless her, she works so hard, but those knees are shot and have been for
Yeah.
quite some time. And she's wrestling a next level wrestler like Natsupoi. And Natsupoi takes a pasting in this match. There is so many near falls, and Natsupoi's
Really?
comeback, and Ito just buries Natsupoi, like just hits her with these bombs and so many great near falls towards the end. Natsupoi getting the win with the fairy magic onto Kari Ito. Now, again, this was a really great match. However, like Natsupoi trying to do the Lamai Straw Cradle, the fairy magic onto
Mhm.
Karito, it looked really wonky towards the end. I would just had Natsupoi hit the pharaoh gift off the top rope for the 3 count.
Yeah.
Who am I to tell these two how to wrestle? 13 minutes and 16 seconds might have been a minute or two longer. Again, Ito, she tries her heart out. There's no doubt about that. Again, she has abused her body back in the 90s and the
Hmm.
2000s in the style of pro wrestling that she does. And her and Natsupoi had a really great match here in the semi-main event.
Yeah, it sounds like probably the best she can do considering all the mileage that she's put on over the years. So, can't hold it against. It's like Tanahashi near the end. Like a lot of miles. We still love him, still Tanahashi, but a lot of miles. And eventually it stops you. But it's pretty cool that she can still work and still wrestle someone the caliber of Natsupoi and hold her own. So, yeah, I have to go back and watch this one.
Main event, buddy. I mean, this is what we're all here for.
Hmm.
Sareee, Takumi Iroha, Chihiro Hashimoto Syuri. Big fight feel. Everybody gets separate entrances. Literally to the point where we do have Sareee being sung into the ring.
Yeah, how about it?
Sung into the ring. And that was really, really cool. Sareee with new gear. Takumi Iroha, I
New
believe,
coat,
with new
too.
gear. Yeah, new coat. I mean, looked like an absolute badass. We start with Sareee and Syuri, just fantastic stuff. Obviously, they had those three great matches for the IWG, or well, two matches for the IWGP Joshi, but their first match was just a special singles match back at Sareee-ISM. I believe it was Chapter 8, where they went 30 minutes back in Shinjuku Face.
Yeah,
I'm just pulling that up right now. It was
chapter
Chapter
seven.
7.
Seven?
Chapter
Okay, so
7.
it's one of them two.
Obviously, Sareee and Chihiro Hashimoto, they have a long-standing history that remember their last singles match was back at the Chihiro Hashimoto anniversary show just a
Hmm.
few months ago in Cork and Hall, where we do have Chihiro Hashimoto got the win here. Sareee does get a measure of revenge after hitting about 84 Uranagis at the
Yeah.
end. Getting the win here. I thoroughly enjoy this. Takumi Iroha, her and Shuri work so well as a tag team. My fingers are crossed that we're going to see them in a tag match for Stardom's All Star Grand Queendom.
Mm.
I think it's a safe bet, especially Stardom trying to draw 10,000 people to the Yokohama Budokan. We do our Yokohama Arena, excuse me. We have Sareee drawing almost 3,000 on her own self-produced show to the Yokohama Budokan. So I think it's a safe bet. We'll see Sareee on that show come the end of the month, All Star Grand Queendom. But Sareee and Takumi Iroha, what a phenomenal team. What a great closing stretch. Again, let's see Takumi Iroha and Syuri in a singles match.
Yeah.
They did wrestle each other on the final night of the 2021 5-star Grand Prix. Went to a 20-minute time limit draw. But this was phenomenal, my friend. This is going to be a tough one for any match to beat for my top match of the week
Ooh.
that I will announce on Saturday. 4 and 3/4 stars. This is one of the best main events of our Sareeism show that we have seen in the 10 chapters, which is saying something because there has been some bangers.
Yeah, that really has. But usually the Saree's the main events, they never disappoint. Near to this one, this was four heavy hitters here. I believe Syuri, Syure, I believe she had new gear too, didn't she? It looked real, silver and white.
If it wasn't new, I know she had new knee pads because she had like an angel's wing on the one knee
Yeah,
pad, and she kept throwing kicks with it, and I couldn't stop staring at how cool the knee pad was.
yeah, which is that made that on purpose. So you look at her knee, so that way she kicks you in the head. But speaking of kicks, when Syuri and Takumi Iroha got in there and just kicked the hell out of each other, that was awesome. Like his whole match was really good, but that was really good. Um, there was a part where Chihiro hit the choke bomb on Sareee, and they had a strike off, and then there was a stack up bomb from Chihiro onto Sareee here. So like a lot of like just really big, strong moves here. Were really good. Turn my page here. There was a part where Sareee reversed a last ride into a pin for a near fall. That looked really cool. I was like, that's it, that's over. A lariat on Sareee by Chihiro for another near fall. A last ride on the Sareee, but she kicks out. I was like, this has to be it. That's where I really bit that she kicked out. The backdrop driver, I think 3 times on Chihiro, and then Syuri makes the
The
save there.
Uranagi.
Yeah, the Uranagi, yeah. And then finally the hammerlock Uranagi for the finish. I like how Joshi, once you hit the hammerlock version of something, that's it. There's no kicking out of the hammer like Micah's hammerlock Michinoku driver, and we just seen it in one of the other shows. A hammerlock. Oh, I forget who it was. Someone else hit a hammerlock version. Hanan hit a hammerlock version at the end there. So there you
Yeah,
go.
Hammerlock wrist clutch. And if you remember, Shuri, she did the Hammerlock version of the Vermilion World on the Mayu a year ago to win the belt. She's only ever
Mm-hmm.
done it once.
Yeah.
So we just need maybe a Hammerlock palm to justice.
There we go. A hammer. Uh,
Hammer of
I don't know how.
justice.
Yeah, there we go. A hammerlock lets you up the leg. How about a hammerlock pillow from Raku? There we go. To top it, a hammerlock hypermobile. But anyway, finally the hammerlock Nuragi on the Chihiro. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this man event was great. A lot of heavy hitting here. A lot of great tag action. I give it 4.5 stars. Sareee-ISM's main events never disappoint.
No, really great stuff and really cool. Really, it's gonna be interesting to see what she does the rest of the year. Just one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. Andy Hitter, we are just about ready to wrap this up. Now, again, I made mention a few weeks ago that we are going to be going back and doing a Women of Honor segment again because of the short turnaround. Because we wanted to get this up before we record with Andy Zeich for our preview. That next week on Talk Joshi, I will be reviewing the Maya World versus Athena Ring of Honor championship match because that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be happening on Thursday night. So just because I want an excuse to go back and watch it, I went back to the night before, all in Texas, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, a 4-way for the vacant Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship. Red Velvet had an injury, so she had to vacate the belt. Now, just listen to these participants in this match. Mina Shirakawa versus Yuka Sakazaki versus Persephone versus Miyu Yamashita.
Ooh,
Yes, I remember
that's a
watching this.
match
I'm like,
right there.
wow, this is great. But I mean, just look at the pedigree between all 4 of these wrestlers. So I just went back and watched it earlier today. I'm just going to kind of go through the beats real quick. Amina, Miyu, and Yuka 3-way headlock. Then Persephone comes in kind of as the heel, overpowers everybody. Forearms to Mina and Miyu. Miyu doesn't take kind of that, and then Miyu starts kicking Persephone, and then she's like, "I may as well kick everybody else in this match." Corner kick to Persephone. Return crush to Yuka Sakazaki. Again, Yuka and Miyu have had phenomenal matches
Mm-hmm.
for the Princess of Princess Championship. Definitely go out of your way to see it. Mina hits a dive onto the floor. Yuka follows up with a baseball slide. And then Persephone doesn't want to be outdone. She hits the Tope Con Hilo over the top rope. And then Yuka's just standing there like, I may as well do something cool. Yuka does a running Rana off the apron onto the floor to
Ooh.
Persephone, which was really, really fantastic. Yuka then hits the tea time, which is her release Northern Light
Mm-hmm.
suplex to Miyu for a 2 count. And then we get this great Miyu and Yuka trade off. Like Persephone and Mina were just like, yeah, these two are really familiar with each other. Let them just go. And the crowd just going absolutely ballistic. Mina hits a top rope sling blade onto Persephone for a 2 count. Mina hits a roaring elbow kick combination to Persephone. Persephone then comes back with the Potter ring, shades of Soria
Mm.
Anu on there. I thought was really cool. Yuka Sakazaki then hits the onto Miyu Yamashita. Yuka hits the merry-go-round onto Miyu, and then Yuka goes to the top rope or goes to the middle of the rope for the magical girl splash. Mina takes advantage, puts Miyu in the figure 4 leg
Oh.
lock, and then Yuka's like, I better break this up. So
Yeah.
then Yuka does the magic girl splash onto both Mina
Nice.
and Miyu Yamashita to break up the figure 4, which was really terrific. Eventually, then Miyu comes back, kicks everybody. She throws one too many kicks because then after Mina getting hit about 84 times with these kicks, Mina grabs the kick, dragging through her leg whip, figure 4 leg lock, forcing Miyu Yamashita to tap out. That's a singles match I'd like to see
Yeah.
Mina and Miyu Yamashita. 4.25 stars, folks. If you haven't seen this one, load up that Honor Club. Go back to Super Card of Honor back in the summer of 2025. A really solid outing.
That sounds really good. I have to go back and watch that one. Just the names of the people in the match makes me want to see it.
Yeah, it's nonstop action. I think it goes like 13, 14 minutes. Excellent, excellent stuff. Andy Header. Well, unless anything else you want to talk about, buddy, you want to wrap this baby up?
Yeah, let's do it. I apologize for the bad internet, but oh yeah, you know what we forgot to talk about?
What's
We
that?
gotta thank a certain country because we're number 3 in the Ukraine. So thank you, Ukraine, because I believe we come in number 3 in the wrestling podcast
I think
for
it was number two. I
number
think
two,
we were
even
number two.
even
We're number
better.
three in the States, which is crazy
Okay, yeah,
considering
I know
Talk
that's awesome.
Joshi has only been an actual thing in the last 3 months. We're number three in the States, number two in the Ukraine, and I think number six in France. So
Ooh, probably what Francais, like the All American Boys, the Raju brothers.
there you go. There you go.
There we
Yes,
go.
thanks. Thank you to all of our listeners all over the world, not only Talk
Yeah.
Joshi, but on the World of Joshi podcasting network with the Stardom Cast and the Marigold Standard, but just the Stardom Cast solo feed has hit
Mm-hmm.
number two in the Ukraine. So thank you so much to all of our fans over there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. And this Talk Joshi and the Stardom, the world of Joshi stands with Ukraine. So how about that? And if you want to find me on Facebook or Instagram, search Andy Harrow, come right up. At Blue Sky, I'm AH24, and at Twitter, X, whatever you like to call it, I am at Get Some Header, pun intended.
Folks, questions, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and best way to get a hold of me. Folks, don't forget to look me up over there on the TikTok at Matt
Mm-hmm.
Turner OF, or you can shoot me an email, matt@worldofjoshi.com or the Stardom Cast 22
22.
at gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do without you. Like I always say, just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because when all together, everybody's different. Everybody's special.